Hi everybody, it's Don from Don's Family Vacation and welcome back to the channel. This week we got a little different topic. This week we're going to talk about destination weddings, and because it's April of 2017, I really hope you're not planning for June or July of 2017 and you're just starting now, because to do it right, it takes time, and that's the reason that for this video we're going to give you 25 tips for having the perfect destination wedding. Coming up right after this. Number one is, what is your priority? Is it your budget? Is it having that perfect backdrop for your wedding photos? Is it convenience for your guests? Is it you love this hotel? This is where you met your future husband or future bride and you're going to get married at that hotel? Is it a country you've always wanted to visit, so this is your dream wedding, dream vacation? Find out and let people know what your priority is first, and that's when you can start to choose everything else after that. Number two, plan the wedding as far out as possible. If you can take 2 years, that's a lot better than trying to plan something in 4 months. First of all, it gives your guests a lot more time to plan their vacation around your wedding. A lot of people say if you're getting married in Cancun, Mexico on the beach, a lot of people might say, well, you know what, I'm going to stay at that hotel for 7 days. I'll make it part of my vacation. So they'll plan their vacation for the time you're having your wedding. They can attend your wedding and then they can have their 6 days remaining for their vacation. So plan out as far ahead as possible. Try not to make it a short 4-month, oh, by the way, we're getting married in Cancun in 3 months. Number three, one of the benefits of planning far out in advance is you can plan a quick holiday yourself to visit where you're going to have the wedding at. You can look at all the photos you want, all the reviews you want. You can talk to travel agents, you can talk to the hotel. Nothing beats actually seeing the property for yourself. So if you can, visit the property before you make any final decisions on this is where I'm holding my wedding. Number four, should I have a wedding planner or should I have a travel agent? Well, in some cases it's both. A wedding planner can certainly make things go a lot smoother, a lot easier, but it's going to cost you a little bit of money added on to the expense of a destination wedding to begin with. A good alternative is some travel agents actually have to go and take courses and they become wedding planner specialists. So they know the hotels, they have inside information, they've taken the training, they know how to plan a destination wedding, and they're the travel agent besides that. So they also know how to book the hotels. They know what hotels are good for destination weddings and what hotels have fallen on the wayside. They know flights. They know how to organize all your guests and get it all into one package. So if you're going to just use a travel agent, ask for one that's certified as a wedding specialist. Number five, does the destination you're holding the wedding at offer perks because you're going to be having a group go to that hotel? A lot of hotels will say a certain amount of room and the bride and groom get their hotel for free. Well, if you're there for 7 days, a hotel, say at a first-class all-inclusive resort in Mexico, for a couple can cost you $5,000. Well, there's $5,000 you might just save on your wedding. Not only that, if you have a certain amount of people showing up, say 12 to 20 people or more, you can get some wedding packages at some hotels that are free of charge. They're not the most glamorous, but they're quite nice. Take a look at this one here. This is from the Hard Rock Hotel in Cancun and the Riviera Maya. It's a simple setup. It's lovely. It's right on the beach. And it costs you nothing if you have a certain amount of guests and a certain amount of hotel rooms booked at their hotel for your wedding. Number six, know the rules for where you're getting married. Some people say, I'm going to have my best friend, they're going to get ordained online and they're going to hold the ceremony for us. Yeah, okay, that's great in some countries, but some countries that's not going to fly. For instance, in Japan, you can't be ordained as a Catholic minister online and hold a wedding. it's null and void. It won't be accepted. What a lot of people do to get around this is they'll have a quick private ceremony, say at City Hall or at a local church for themselves. They'll get officially married at the country that they're leaving from, and then they'll have the ceremony with their best friend holding doing the nuptials wherever they're going. It's not legal there, but it doesn't have to be because they're already married, but you have the wedding at the destination and the photos and the bride's dress and the groom's, and you get all the pictures and everything that you're looking for. So consider that. Make sure you know the rules of the country you're going to be getting married in. Number 7, any wedding packages or any hotel perks that you're going to get or travel agent offers or wedding planner offers, get everything in writing. Don't send any money. Don't sign any contract. Get it in writing, read it over, make sure you're happy, make sure there's no added charges, and don't be afraid to ask questions. If a hotel's saying you have to have a certain amount of guests, well, what happens if you have one guest short? Does that all of a sudden, if you were saving $400 a couple and you had 20 couples and now you have 19, well, that's $8,000 that you're going to have to add on to the bill of everyone else. So make sure you get all the exact details in writing before you send any money at all. Number 8, if you're planning a hot beach wedding in the middle of June at a tropical destination, or you're perhaps getting married on a mountaintop, plan your wedding clothes, the wedding dress, the bridesmen, the groomsmen, plan their clothes according to where you're going to be and the month that you're going to be there. If you're going to be there in a hot season, dressed head to toe in tuxedo with tie, standing outside for pictures and the wedding ceremony. By the time an hour-long wedding ceremony is over and the photographers try to take some pictures of you by the beach, you're going to be just drenched in sweat. So consider lighter clothes, maybe a little bit more of a tropical theme, a lighter dress. If you're getting married on the beach and you have a long walk to where you're going to get married, do you want to have a train behind you that's 15 feet long dragging through the sand and maybe mud if it's a little damp or rain that time of year? So plan your clothes and your wedding according to where and the time of year that you're going to get married. Number 9, while we're on the topic of the wedding dress, remember, you have to transport that wedding dress. So the bigger and larger it is, the larger and more complicated it is going to be to get there. So keep that in mind when you're choosing your wedding dress. Since you're going to be traveling, you're going to have to be traveling with that wedding dress. Number 10, also, at the destination you're going to, what happens if you end up having a rip on your dress? Is there a place to get last minute alterations? Is there an emergency thing that you can do? If you're at a tropical hotel that's away from everybody and you have to take a boat to get there, there may not be any chance to get that dress repaired. So keep that in mind, and if there's not, if you know somebody who can sew and a good seamstress or something, make sure you have kits available that they might be able to help you to patch up your dress or even the tuxedos for the groom. Number 11, what if it rains? You plan this gorgeous wedding on the beach and it's wonderful, and then it pours down rain on your wedding day. What alternative does the hotel have? Some hotels, if it rains, it rains. Sorry, you have a tent over your head or little tent poles, and that's what you're stuck with. Other hotels excel at them. Some of them have convention centers on site, and if you can't get married outdoors, they can talk to you ahead of time and they'll say, well, do you want us to move it inside? And it'll be your choice. And they won't charge you extra for it because you've already paid for the wedding and you have guests coming there. They'll quickly take everything from the outside and they'll put it inside, and you can hold your wedding indoors. The Hard Rock Riviera Maya is a great example for that. They have a children's hotel, they have an adults hotel, and right in the middle, they have a 20-room convention center. So no matter how many people you have to your wedding, they can accommodate you if they have to accommodate for the weather. The weather? Okay, the weather. So keep that in mind. Does the hotel or the destination you're going to have an alternative if bad weather happens? Number 12, don't just book a block of rooms at a hotel and say, okay, there it is, because everyone is different. A young couple who's just starting out with a young family might not have the money to stay in a suite and just want a basic hotel room, where your grandmother and grandparents who are retired or own their own home, they might want to stay at a suite on the beach. You might have somebody who needs wheelchair access. So don't just say, I'm going to book 30 two-bedroom accommodations. Talk to your guests ahead of time, or have the travel agent contact them and find out exactly what kind of room they're looking for. Talk to all your guests, and then they will contact the hotel and say, I need this, this, and this. You can always change your mind afterwards, but it's a lot easier to have chosen certain rooms ahead of time than it is to try and change into 5 suites when you've ordered 20 regular hotel rooms at the last minute. Number 13 is arrive at least 1 or 2 days ahead of your wedding. Look over the area you're going to be getting married at. Go over with the photographer, if it's a hotel photographer. You've chosen where you're going to be getting your pictures taken. Sometimes you might even want to get your pictures from the wedding taken ahead of the actual wedding if it's a bright sunny day, and not take a chance on hoping it's going to be sunny on the day of your wedding. This way you get those beautiful pictures, and you have a couple days to do it ahead of time. Also, you get to scour the area, you get to talk to the people who are setting up, and it also is, a wedding can be so stressful, and especially a destination wedding when you're worried about guests arriving and hotel rooms and everything. It's really nice to arrive a few days early and make sure everything is running smoothly when you get there. Number 14. If you're on your way and you're heading to the airport and you're checking in, tell the stewardess that's checking you in, hey, by the way, we're getting married. And you never know, they might just have an upgraded first class couple of seats available that haven't been sold, and they might bump you up. A lot of this happens. One time my wife and I were booking a flight to Florida. We were just going on a budget. She was 4 months pregnant, I think, at the time. And the stewardess notices that she was pregnant, and she gave us first class seats. We didn't ask for it, she just did it to us. So make sure you mention to people, mention at the hotels that you're staying if you have a couple nights ahead of time before flying out. Say you're going to New York for a couple days and then flying to Cancun. Mention to the hotel you're getting married. They might just give you some upgrades for free to celebrate the fact that you are getting married. Number 15, don't assume because you're going to a tropical area that it's going to be nice, bright, and sunny, because even tropical areas have their storm season. So make sure when you're planning your wedding, if you're going to choose an area that might have windy or hurricane chances during a couple months of the year, make sure you don't plan, if you at all possible, to have your wedding during those months. Try and look at the weather forecast for those areas and get a good idea. For instance, in Canada, it's beautiful in July and August, and it can be downright miserable in January and February. So you never know what you're going to get. So if I was planning an outdoor wedding, I would plan July and August. The same can be said for Cancun, Fiji, Australia, going to Paris. Paris has a rainy season. So make sure that you know when those times are and try and plan your wedding around it if at all possible. Number 16, lots of tropical destinations have wedding packages. Some of them go from very simple. If you have a certain amount of guests, you may get a complimentary certain package, which will include a nice little setup on the beach for a few guests. It might give you 1 hour of a dance party. It might give you a dinner. All hotels are different. And then, of course, those can all be upgraded. And some of them have actual well-known designers that have designed the packages for them. So, for instance, check out the Hard Rock Hotel in Riviera Maya. They're well known for having designer packages for their wedding, and they're not all that unreasonable. I priced a wedding here in Canada in my local city, and to set up for the dance afterwards, the wedding on the beach, and the reception was going to cost them around $8,000 or $9,000. One of the best upgrades and best available packages at Cancun was only around $4,000. So you got to remember that they're also getting the guests to stay at the hotel. So they're not just making money from the wedding, they're getting money from the actual guests staying and partying and drinking, and then they discover their hotel, and you know what? Next time they plan a vacation, maybe they might want to stay at that hotel. So it's good publicity for the hotels. So a lot of them have some very, very reasonable wedding packages, and it can take a lot of stress off yourself trying to plan one from far away. And don't even think about trying to transport all your different things like table setups and flowers and things like that. You're going to want to do local vendors at the area, and if you have a local hotel that has packages and will get it done for you, it makes things so much more simpler and much more stress-free for your wedding. You can just relax and enjoy yourself. Number 17, I mentioned a little bit earlier in one of my other tips. Sometimes it's nice to get married at home at a private ceremony and then just do a public ceremony for all your family and your guests at the destination wedding. You get the lovely background, as I was saying, and things like that. But it's also a lot less complicated than trying to get your wedding certificate from another country and going through the registration and all the things involved in doing a destination wedding. So if you don't actually have to worry about getting your certificate and everything from, say, Fiji or Cambodia, depending on where you're getting married at, it's just another thing that you don't have to worry about. As soon as you know you're going to get married and you know roughly when you're going to get married and you can set a date, tell the guests, call them personally. Don't just send them an email or a letter, or call them, talk to them, ask them what they feel about it. Do they think they're going to be able to go? Because it's one thing you don't want to get said, okay, we'll try and make it. Because while trying to make it, you have to book a hotel. You have to have a certain amount of guests to get certain perks at the hotels for your wedding. You have to book flights. It's something that you can't do last minute. So talk to the immediate people that you want at your wedding: your mother, your father, brothers, sisters, bridesmaid, groomsmen, your grandmothers, all the people that you know are probably going to show up, and then go from there. From there, you'll have a rough idea how many people are going to show up to the wedding, and you can start that planning process way in advance, and it's a lot easier than getting an RSVP back saying, yes, we're going to attend. And then when you call them, or your travel agent calls them and says, oh, would you like to book your flight? They say, oh, well, we're not sure we can make it. So try and get your RSVPs, call people in person, talk to them directly, get their honest feelings. Don't pressure them saying, oh, well, we really want you there. Well, yeah, well, I might not want to spend $4,000. I don't have it. So think of those things when you're planning as well. Not everyone can afford a destination wedding, no matter how cheap you might be able to get the rooms for, the flights for. It can still be an expense. To pop in an extra $1,000 on somebody, just look at yourself. I go to you right now and say, give me $2,000. You're going to go, oh, I need that $2,000. I got rent, I got food. So not everyone's going to be able to afford to just leave. But if you give them enough time to plan out, they might be able to budget themselves, and they will perhaps plan their vacation around that wedding, like I said, and plan to stay their 7-day vacation at that hotel if it's a worthwhile hotel to stay at. So again, RSVP as soon as possible, and do it in person, not by email. Call people or talk to them directly. Now you've got your RSVP, you've booked, you're getting married in 17 months from now. And as things progress, so in 3 months you find out, okay, this is going to be the package, or they're going to give us a dinner and this is going to be the food, update your guests. Have all your guests on a single email list and send out updates. So it not only reminds them about the wedding and that they have to budget or plan accordingly, but it gives them a little bit of anticipation. Oh, look at this, there's horseback riding at this hotel, and we might plan an hour-long event there before the wedding, a couple days before the wedding. Things like that, or this is going to be the menu, what would you like? Update your guests, keep them involved, and it makes them want to go to the destination wedding a lot more than if you just say, oh, we're getting married in 17 months and we'll see you there. Number 20, this can be a tricky one. A lot of first people getting married don't have kids if you're getting married for the first time and you're a young couple, but other people might. So what do you do with kids? Are kids allowed at this wedding? And if it is, well, it's a destination wedding. That means people have to pay for their kids to get there. So if you're staying at an all-inclusive hotel, and say you have your brother and sister and they have 2 kids, well, that's 4 people that they have to pay for now, not just 2. So their expenses are double what other people's expenses might be. And also they have to figure out what to do with the kids if you don't want the kids at the actual ceremony. Some hotels have services where they set up a play area just off to the left-hand side with some swings and portable things like that, and they have 3 or 4 guest hotel attendants to watch over the kids right beside where you're having your ceremony. So the kids are not out of view, they're not too far away, and the parents can keep an eye on them, and they don't actually part of the ceremony. So those are things to keep in mind if it's a kid-friendly and you have no problem with it, but make sure you talk to the guests who do have kids and find out if, first of all, are they going to bring their kids, and second of all, what kind of rooms do they need, what kind of travel do they need, do they need babysitting services on site, do they need special care, dietary things, all things like that you have to consider for your guests. And that's one of the good reasons to have a travel agent involved, because they're going to ask those questions. 21. Don't plan too many wedding activities. So a lot of people, you have 50 guests coming to your hotel, and 30 of them are planning the entire week at the hotel with your wedding. They're going to plan their vacation around it. You get married, you arrive on the Friday, you get married on the Saturday, and now you have 5 days. So let's plan, oh, we're going to go swimming with the dolphins, and we're going to go zip lining, we're going to go horseback riding, we're going to go see some of the ancient Mayan ruins in Mexico. We're going to do all these things. Don't forget, most couples, the minute they get back to their hotel room after all the wedding ceremony and the reception is over with, it's just like this huge wave of relief comes over them, because it's finally over, all your planning is done, you're finally married, you're happy, and it's just like, oh. Well, do you really want to have to get up at 6 o'clock the next morning because you're going zip lining? You might just want to enjoy yourselves. So it's okay to plan 1 or 2 activities with your guests during that time if you want to, but don't overdo it. Don't plan 2 or 3 a day to the point where now it seems like a chore and you're not enjoying your honeymoon. 22. A wedding in general can be overwhelming. A destination wedding can really be overwhelming. You arrive and your dress is all wrinkled and folded, and the press at the hotel is broken. They can't anything can happen. The flowers don't arrive. The flowers aren't what you expected. And it can just be stressful. So make sure you have somebody in your wedding party, a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, a best man, a bridesmaid, who you can really trust and really rely on. Not your party friend that you like to go out with, see the ball games with, or out to dancing with and stuff like that, but somebody who you know will have your back and will do whatever it can to make your wedding as magical as possible. You want that person to be as trustworthy and concentrating on you and not selfish and trying to enjoy themselves at your expense. Everybody has that one friend they know they can rely on. Number 23, you got your suitcase with your wedding dress in it, you got your suitcase with a bunch of clothes in it, and you're going to the airport and they want you to check your bags. Well, make sure that your wedding dress or your pouch that you're carrying your wedding rings in, you don't check those. You don't put them underneath the airplane. You keep them with you in your overhead at all times. Never let your dress out of your sight, because that's the one thing that if it goes missing will completely ruin your wedding. You will be so stressed, you will be so panicked. Can you imagine everybody's in their formal gowns and your husband is all dressed up together and your wedding dress hasn't shown up and you have to run out and just buy a nice dress while you had that perfect wedding dress picked out? It could be devastating. So never ever let that dress out of your sight during transportation from when you leave home to the hotel. 24 is consider your guests when you're choosing your location for the wedding. Having a mountaintop view that you climb these gorgeous stairs up onto the hillside and it's overlooking the ocean and the wind is blowing can be a beautiful, beautiful setting for a wedding. But your grandmother, who is 85 years old and using a walker, can't get up 350 sets of stairs, and there's no elevator to get up there. So what are you going to do with her? Carry her up those stairs? And it's not going to be very fun for her or the people who have to try and do that. So remember, choose your location and keep your guests in mind while doing so. Having something on a lower beach compared to something high might be a lot better for grandma or grandpa. Number 25, a lot of people plan how they get to the wedding, especially a destination wedding. We arrive by boat or we arrive by limo. Destination weddings can be completely different than a regular wedding because you might be staying at the hotel you're already on. So plan something a little special, maybe a horse-drawn carriage if you can. They can be quite inexpensive, sometimes just like $100. But not only plan your arrival, plan how you're leaving. Don't just hop on a golf cart and drive back to your hotel room after there. Plan that epic leaving the ceremony. It can be very inexpensive to do, and it can leave a lasting impression on both yourselves and your guests, and it's a great way to end what should be the happiest night of your life. Well, there you go. There's 25 tips, and I hope you enjoyed it. Wedding destinations are fantastic, and you get some gorgeous, gorgeous pictures that you'll last forever. No matter how nice it is to take pictures in a city park and a hotel, a really nice hotel, nothing beats a mountaintop or that epic beach picture with the waves in the background of the ocean view. It can be absolutely gorgeous. So I hope you like these tips. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to learn more, please check out my website at donsfamilyvacations.com. And until next time, if you want to hear more travel tips, we're going to be talking about Hawaii, Fiji, and more cruising, and soon Disney World because they're opening up Avatar, Pandora, and we're going to be talking about Volcano Bay when it opens up. So if you want to hear more videos and see more sites on those things, please hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next week. Until then, happy trails.